Hooked up fishing. What is up? Come on, Karl. Straight. What's going on, Ryan? Hooked up. Jack. What's up? What's up? No Job Inc. What's up? Clayton, Texas Reaper. Glenn, what's going on, dude? Levi, Fishing with Dave. James, Top Notch, Ruben, Random. All you guys are on tonight, man. All right. Brandon, Scott, Matt, Lionel, Cole, Joe. Happy Sunday, Joe. Trout. All right, man. What's going on, Jack? Kyle. Man, can't keep up with you guys. No ice fishing with Phantom? No, we don't have we don't have ice right now. Alan Hopper. Appreciate the $2, brother. Tell you what, I always mention this the first donation that we get, and I always do a super chat giveaway for you guys. And this week, I wanted to do the Pro Box. If you guys haven't seen the video on this, lots of cool baits in here. Everything is in here. So whoever donates will be entered in the little live chat giveaway. Again, at the end of the stream, I can go through the analytics, see who donated, and I'll put you guys on a little drawing. But you have to look back when the video is processed in the comments and reply to my comment so I can get your shipping info. Anyways, whoever donates entered for the Pro Box. I believe there was another one. Heavy Arms. Appreciate the $2.99, brother. So we had two guys in the game. Let's see here. Got my first bass 2019 since the ice off today. About 2 pounds. Well, that's much better than I'm doing, bud. Ranger 374. I'm doing good, bud. I'm doing good. Trying to get the wife down here. And she's doing some work. I think she's going to come down here as well and answer some questions for you guys. What's going on, Adam? Of the channel. Appreciate that, buddy. 8 inches of snow. That's terrible. Jeremy, appreciate the $2, brother. You're entered in the giveaway. So we got 3 people in the giveaway. Going fishing, mineral wells, Texas fishing with family, needing to know some good lures to use. Mineral wells, Texas. Texas? You should have some pretty warm weather down there, right? You'll be able to catch them however you want. Where are the girls? They're already crying because I didn't let them come down here right away. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys like that or not. So they're upstairs. My youngest had his Beyblades ready to come down here. So show us the pegboard, the new one. Hold on. There it is there. I don't have any tackle on it yet. I just didn't make a video on the new rods I got in, though. That's what you guys have seen over there. So you love the Sunday live chat. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. Any thoughts on the Flambeau backpack? I can't say I've seen or even used the Flambeau backpacks. I like the boxes. No word on the backpacks, though. Zilch on the board. Yeah, I ain't had time to load it up, buddy. Jeff, I appreciate the $10, brother. You're entered in the giveaway. Am I missing the Oscars? I'm trying to get her down here. She said she's going to come down here. So hopefully she's down here and she'll answer some questions for you guys. I know, Jeff, you were asking about her last week. But I do appreciate you missing the Oscars for the little live chat. I appreciate the $10, buddy. How do you sell your old fishing gear? Normally on Facebook or just through friends, things like that. No, I don't kayak fish. I don't have an opinion on the Tranks or track, however you say that, 200. I know Tactical Bassin, I think they use that reel. I haven't used it, so I couldn't tell you. I really don't use any Shimano's as of right now. I'm going to be picking up the DC here soon, though. The Corrado DC. My 7-year-old son fishes with me a lot. What do you recommend for him? That's easy to fish, but productive. I started my boys out on those little bitty, they're not spinner baits, but they're like, what would you call those? I can't think of the name. They're kind of like a beetle spin, but I would make my own. I would just buy the arms, put my own jig head and trailer on there. And they had fun picking out their own trailers and things like that. But my kids caught a lot of fish on a beetle spin. Or you can even get the little Booyah Pond Magic spinner baits. I think you can get those at Walmart for a few bucks. Something that they can just throw out and reel in is really best. That way they're not bored. If they're not catching fish, at least they're doing something. So I would say it's a real small spinner bait. Something like that would be great. That's what I started my boys out with. And they had a lot of fun. Joshua, I do appreciate the $10, brother. You were entered in the giveaway. Can't miss the Sunday Night Live Bro, how's it going, my dude? Not bad, bud. Not bad. I thought we were starting to warm up, but looks like the end of next week we're starting to get cold again, so I'm not really digging that. Spinning reels, I've been using the SX, Okuma SX spinning reel for, I guess last season. I got a couple more for this season. Solid reel. I really do love it. I don't think you can go wrong with that spinning reel there. I used the CMAR years ago, and I believe it was the RX30, I believe, and that's another solid reel as well. So, but I've also used a lot of the Shimano Saharas, pretty affordable, $60, $70, solid reel. My dad uses the Spyrex, really likes that one as well. So you don't have to spend too much money to get a really quality spinning reel. Random skills, looking to buy some new flipping tungsten. What do you recommend? The Picasso tungsten, let me go ahead and grab one real fast. These right here, I've been using these weights for a couple seasons now. The color, though, is what you need to get. The gunmetal. That color around there, it does not come off. It's like within the weight. I mean, I have weights that I've used all last season, and they're still black. You know, cannot chip off. A little more money, but it's a great weight. I mean, you can't beat it. What do you think about the Corrado rods? I had the last Shimano rods that I used Compre. I used the what's it called? Compre. Why can't I think of that? Compre. There's no, the Crucial. And then I used to use the Camaros. Other than that, I haven't used any other Shimano rods. I was sad to see the Camaro was discontinued. That was a killer rod, man. How often do you change the fluorocarbon line? Normally, just once a season, just because it's expensive, you know. If maybe a spool gets low, if I had a backlash or something like that, I'll spool it up again. But I try just to do it once a year with fluorocarbon. But I use backing, so I mean, I only really put on probably, you know, the spool itself really only has 60% of my fluorocarbon line. The rest is going to be backer. So really, if you do it that way, you're kind of saving money as well. What's going on, bud? What's going on, Mike? Andy, appreciate the $5, brother. Hey, tell you, you were the winner of last week. Yep, that's cool. Appreciate you tuning in, bud. Appreciate the $5. Hope you enjoy the baits. Yes, weather for the week and weekend. Yeah, it's getting pretty crappy here, man. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Any suggestions for fishing these waters moving to Chickamauga area soon? I'm not really familiar with that area at all. A lot of rain, I would think, would really muddy it up. Again, I don't really know the lake, so I couldn't tell you. But what I would think of, if I had a lot of rain in the lakes that I fish, big spinnerbaits is what I would probably throw. See, 108 people on, only 19 thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up, guys. Colton, appreciate the $1, buddy. You were entered in the giveaway. Mad Matt, what's going on, brother? I'm sure you got some crappy weather up your way as well, man. Do you make your own fishing skirts? I do not. Yeah, Beagle Spin. I must be really behind on comments here. Watch you teach the girls how to throw a baitcaster video today. Funny and informative. Michael was destined to get hooked. I tell you what, that little part where he did that little dance in there, man, that was hilarious. Appreciate the $5, Doug. And I do have another video, Lewis. I was going to tell you, I got another video that I put on the Mystery Tackle Box channel of me using a baitcaster. That's a really good video as well. Check that one out as well. But yeah, Doug, I do appreciate the $5, brother. Inching closer to purchasing that reel. I am, dude. I would say probably after this stream, no matter if I have enough money or not, I'll go ahead and pick it up. And that's what I'm doing, guys, with the donations. I'm going to pick up the Shimano with the Corrado DC. A lot of you guys wanted me to review that reel, so that's what we're going to go with. And for those of you just tuning in, whoever donates is going to be entered in a little giveaway, and we're going to go ahead and give away the Pro Box this stream here. What's going on, C? Not doing too bad, buddy. Had the day off today with the wind. I was supposed to be working today, and the wind was just terrible. There's no way that we could have got the chemical on the trucks, so we went ahead and called off. Yeah, Rooster Tails does work too. Snow Friday, fishing time, dude. I'm down. Phantom fishing. I'm not going to say how the little fishing trip went with me and Phantom fishing. We went to a power plant lake the other day. And all I can say is old Phantom had to eat a worm. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. When are you going to go saltwater fishing? Probably no time soon. I don't really get to travel a whole lot. Do you plan on doing an unboxing review of the BPS Pro Qualifier? I probably could. I mean, I got him in the other day. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I haven't used that reel in a long time. It's an upgrade from the original that I used, but I'm super pumped to play around with it just because, I mean, I loved that reel so much back then, and I know they've made it better since when I've used it last, so I probably will do a video on that reel just because I like it so much. How many of you guys picked up some of those reels? Like I said, I picked up 2. I mean, I've seen a bunch of comments of guys picking them up, so. Do you recommend the Plano waterproof boxes over the Flambeau waterproof boxes? I haven't used the Flambeau waterproof ones. I've been using the Plano waterproof boxes for, I mean, years. I haven't had any issues at all with them, but I'm sure both boxes are great. What's going on? Hey, Jeff, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate the $1.99. Love having you in the Pro Team 175 owners group. Any of you guys that have a tracker, you guys need to check out the group on Facebook, Instagram as well. Appreciate the $1.99, Jeff. Southern Outdoors, what's going on, buddy? Down here in Kentucky. Kentucky Lake is busted. Its banks big time. Yeah, we got a ton of rain here, man. I know the lake that I normally fish, I drove by it the other day, and water just pouring over the spillway. Yesterday, I had to sneak out of the house and pick up Pro Qualifier 2. Nice reel for $50. No problem, buddy. I tell you what, you cannot beat that reel. Even at full retail, that reel is a steal. 88 viewers and 9 thumbs up. Let's pound it. That's right, guys. Pound it. We got 55 now, though, or 53. So, again, I'm way behind on comments here. Do you have any thoughts on the Daiwa Elite rods? I haven't used them. I couldn't tell you. But, I mean, pretty much every Daiwa reel that I've played around with is awesome. I'd imagine the rods are just as good. Hello? Oh, no.
Do you have a chair?
I don't have a chair. The old lady just showed up to answer some questions for you guys. Joe, have you ever fished the Ned rig? If so, what weight Ned head do you use? I use a pretty heavier one, Jeff. I think it was like 3/16. I know guys use a lot lighter than that, but I don't have a ton of experience with that at all. And I think the few times that I threw it, I broke off the heads. I mean, I plan to play around with more of that this year, do more finesse fishing. But, yeah, just with fishing dirty water, I don't have a whole lot of confidence at all in any type of finesse, finesse fishing at all. Jack, yeah, dude, I got a bunch of Daiwa reels. I used to use those all the time. The Tatula CT, I still recommend that reel to this day. Solid reel for the price, $130. Hard to beat for that price. What trolling motor do you use, and what a good pond bag? Trolling motor, I use the Minn Kota 55 Edge. Pond bag, I got a few different ones from Okuma that I've used. The one from PC Fun, I got a few videos on that. Really like that one as well. What baits are you going to throw the Tokyo rig, or do you recommend? I'll probably start out with probably just little creature baits, things like that. What would be good technique for a 6/6 medium action bait casting rod? Well, it'd be medium power. And actually, I just did a video on this talking about power and action. A lot of guys confuse this. It would depend on the action of the rod, but like a medium fast action rod, 6/6, that'd be a great little like little top water popper rod, little worm rod, things like that. What's up, Junkie family? Everyone hit that thumbs up. That's right, guys. We got 140 people on, only 66 thumbs up. We can do much better than that. Smash it. Hey, we got any questions for the old lady here? Leave them below. I know I'm behind on comments here. Oh, yeah, this weather is awful. Rain, snow, high wind. Dude, the winds last night, I thought the house was actually moving. It was terrible.
Last night and today.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. That's a great MTB Pro box this month. That's what you guys are going to win if you guys donate. MTB Pro box is the giveaway this week. Luke, appreciate the $1. Thanks, buddy. You're entered in the giveaway. Call sign Rub1. $5. Appreciate the donation. Watching Tackle Junkie and spooling new line. There you go, dude. You can't beat that, man. I grabbed 4 of them plus tons of line too. Yeah, they had a good deal on the Suffolk Siege. What are you looking forward to the most this upcoming season? Also did I end up picking up 2 of the Pro Qualifiers. That's cool. What am I looking forward to? Breaking my PB. I like to do that, but I would really like to get into more finesse fishing. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Let's see here. Doug, finally got my hands on some bomber sprays at Indie Boat Sport and Travel Show. Got, of course, the Red Craw, Tennessee Shad, and Pearl Shad. Dude, you got 3 killer colors. I wish they would come back out with Tennessee Shad. There's talk that they might, so that one, it's discontinued for now, but it may come back around. What's going on, Andrew? I was wondering if you stick with one name brand of terminal tackle, or do you use a mixture? I've been working with all VMC as I'm getting back into fishing. Really, mostly I use mustad, but there's some owner hooks I like. It just really depends on technique, gauge of wire, things like that. If the company that I like even offers that style of hook. Mostly though, I like to stick with mustad, but again, I do venture out depending on the hook style. Like Trocar tube hook, they're the only ones that I know that make that style of hook. So I really like that hook. For tubes, again, it just depends what I'm fishing and the hook that I'm looking for. Just pulled up the new pro qualifier today. Sergio, what's going on, dude? Cabela's had a fire by me close for a few days. Hope they have reels. Yeah, that sucks, man. Appreciate the thumbs up, dude. What's your opinion on the Concept A reel? It was a solid reel. I don't have it anymore. To me, they fish a lot like the Okuma reels. And I said in the past, I'd bet on it. If I were to take both reels apart, I bet the internals would probably be identical. But it's a solid reel. All right, here we go, babe. One for Kyle. Or one for babe from Kyle. How does the thermocline affect bass?
Well, the thermocline, remember, is just that dividing where you've got that lower oxygenation lower oxygenation down below the thermocline, and that's your colder water, usually around like 4 degrees Celsius. And then above that thermocline is where you have your warmer water. And as far as how it affects bass, I mean, there's been studies that have been done that show that bass, even in high temperatures, will be up shallow. And there's been studies that have been done that find them down hovering around that thermocline. So there's really like no specific how the bass behaves. It really just all depends.
Okay, good answer. What's the best $200 range bait caster? $200 range. It's a good question.
You got a lot to choose from.
Yeah, I'm going to say best bang for your buck. More of a high-end feel reel. I'm going to go with the Tatula CT for $130. For a $200 reel, looks like we're having a party in here. $200 reel. I really like the Okuma reels. You guys know I love those reels. I'd go with that one. I'd go with the Tatula SV. Zillion's $300. So yeah, I'd stick with the Tatula SV. The Okuma reels I really like. No, that reel's more expensive. The reels I'm thinking of are a little more expensive than $200. But again, the few that I named they're tough to beat. What about the Fuego CT? I haven't used Fuego. I'm not sure the Fuego has the T-wing. I really like that T-wing deal on the Tatula. So be a gentleman and give her the seat. Will you have your Tackle Warehouse unboxing video this week? Matt, I haven't shot that yet. Not sure that I will. I just shot the video on the new gear I got from Okuma. I might do that Tackle Warehouse one here soon. I've seen you got the new, or not new, but the Corrado DC. Look pretty cool, dude. Just picked up Daiwa Tatula SV. Super excited to use it. Hopefully the weather gets better. That's a killer reel, dude. I got a Bass Pro Qualifier 2 yesterday. 3 practice weight to get a feel for the reel. Buying another one, dude. I think you can buy up to 5. You ought to buy it all 5, dude, because they are awesome. Have you tried any Guggen baits yet? I'm still a Strike King guy. I have not, but if you like Strike King, I'd imagine you like Guggen baits just from how they look. I like the net rigs. They are close to 16th and 8th, sometimes 20th ones too. Yeah, I need to get into that more. I think if I'm going to be able to hang with Phantom Fishing, he's more of a finesse guy. I definitely need to get into more finesse fishing. The old lady, dang, my wife would give me a fat lip. The boss is in the house. Looks like I'm catching up to her questions here. How much longer does your wife have until she's finished with school? I'm not really sure. Do you even have a plan? What you're going for?
I'm on like the 50-year plan for my PhD. I kind of got a job that I wasn't expecting, and it's kind of changed the plans a little bit. I'm really passionate about what I'm doing right now. So I'm the STEM director at a private school and pretty excited about that. So it's a slow way into finishing school.
Okay, let's see here. Old Ohio Angler, good evening to Tackle Junkie's better half. Welcome, Miss Tackle Junkie. You said she is a scientist. What is her experience? Well, no, she's not a scientist. More like, I say science type videos.
Yeah.
But
love science.
She's the STEM director, like I said, at her school.
Biochemistry and microbiology are my specialties.
David, you two, just wanted to say you two are doing a great job raising the girls.
I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving.
See you, dude. What is the best starter fishing reel and rod to use? I mean, get what you can afford. You don't have to get anything high end. As far as reel goes, I mean, you can't beat a 6-speed reel, a medium heavy, fast action rod. I mean, that's going to do majority of of your fishing techniques. Yeah, she got the dog. How do you talk your wife into letting you buy all the tackle? I need some advice.
I like shoes a lot, and so it's kind of a happy medium. He keeps
really.
me happy. I let him.
Yeah, you really can't walk in the closet with all the shoes and all the jewelry. So I think, I did pretty good in that department there. What do you think for the Nico rig versus jig head wacky rig? I'll tell you, that's a good question. I think they both can be worked shallow. I think wacky rig can be more, I would say more for suspended fish. I mean, obviously you can work it through the entire water column. Me personally, how I would fish them, the Nico rig I would keep on the bottom. And when I throw a wacky rig, I throw it more around bridge pilings and things like that. I keep it up off the bottom. So that would be the difference for me. What do you think of that Ardent Monotex fishing line? I haven't even heard of it, buddy. Just got back from Bass Pro. I used points and the real trade-in to get a Shimano Coronarch MGL for $95. That's a killer deal, man. Red eye shads too. Jim, have you tried the KD 1.5 deep? I have not, Joe. Nice dog. Yeah, man, love the Sunday Night Live. What's going on, Adam? What do you think of the Helios SX? I got them right here. Just did a video on it earlier. The difference from this one here and the original. Okay, we got a little bit longer handle here. We got more bearings, a different brake system. And one cool feature here, they call this like the static drag. I don't know if you guys can even pick that up. But when you loosen and tighten the drag itself, the dial here, it does not move in and out. The parts move internally, but the dial doesn't move, which keeps the reel more compact, keeps the handle closer to the frame there. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool feature, but I mean, the reel itself, it feels killer. Retails for $220, a little expensive. The TCS is $200. I love that reel, so I'm sure I'll love this reel as well. So, where are we at? Got the whole family. Yeah, it looks like everybody's down here tonight. Yes. Where's the pizza party? The gang's all here. Thanks, drummer. Yeah, the whole crew's in here, man.
Maybe.
Is there any way to put a fish finder on a rental John boat, maybe a magnetic mount or some kind of suction cup? That's a good question. You might be able to like, even a transducer. What's that?
There's a lot of portable options.
Yeah, there's some portable stuff, but you can even probably just like clamp a transducer to even like a piece of PVC and just clamp that to your John boat just with like some clamps you would use for like woodworking. I mean, I'm sure there's a simple way to do it. Something like that would probably work. And I'm sure, guys, there's already videos about that on YouTube. I'm sure if you, search that, some stuff will come up. 140 people. Yep, we got 147 now, guys. 91 thumbs up. We can do better than that.
Smash it.
Okay, how does change in the barometric pressure affect bass? Which I think you did a video on this as well.
I did do a video on that, and I think it was because it's such a small change that it doesn't really affect bass that much. But do check out that video. I go into great detail about it.
Yeah, check out that video. I think what we'll do, we'll go ahead and link all her videos in the description of this video once it's done processing. You ever throw that flat nose worm from Berkeley? Flat nose worm. I don't believe so. It doesn't ring a bell. Okuma reel and the thumbnail looks good. Yeah, dude, it's awesome, man. Got a lot of flake in there, but I did a video before this stream here on the new gear, so that'll be coming out on Tuesday.
Well, here's one of your questions.
Here we go. Does the moon phase have an effect on spawning bass, or is it just a water temperature thing?
I did a video on this one as well, on the moon phases. And the moon phase has a lot of effect on many animals and things like that. And whenever I was doing my research on this, I couldn't find a whole lot of studies that were being done as far as it relates directly to the bass. So I kind of just covered on the gravitational pull and stuff like that, and how what the moon phases are and how they do relate in accordance to the gravitational pull.
Something that I've always went by and even read and done, when there's a full moon, the fish usually feed later just because there's more light.
Yeah.
So normally the next day, if you plan to go early, normally the bite is not on that early just because they fed so late at night. So normally when there's a full moon, later the next day is usually better fishing. That's what I've always went by and has worked for me. One for the wife. What kind of turnover, if any, will happen in the lakes during springtime?
I did a video on this one too. You have your spring and fall turnover. So what happens in the spring is when you have all the fish have been down deep, And so your water up top is even colder. So whenever that mixes together, as the temperatures start warming that up, in the spring you have that turnover, so you may have that sulfur smell or things like that from all the decay and stuff at the bottom that's coming back up again. And then that, whenever that is finished and you move into the summer months and things like that, that's whenever you have that restratification of your lake waters again.
And like I said, she did a really good video on that, which again, we'll have that link down below.
How much views?
Let's see here, Matt. Man, we were way behind on comments here. Yeah, the DC is nice, but be great to throw baits in the wind with that microchip breaking. Can't wait till you get it. She casts like a dream. Went out in the icy weather to test it. I guess, Matt, would you say that's more of like a lighter lure reel? Bet Rod, what's going on, buddy? Hey, what breed is the dog?
She's a Havapoo.
Havanese poodle mix.
Yes.
Okay, do bass behave differently to different types of fronts?
Oh, this is for me. I'm sorry. Paying attention. What did you say, to different types of fronts? As far as like high pressure and low pressure, they do. That would be more of a question for Jim, I would say. What do they do in high pressure and low pressure?
I mean, cloudy days. I've always caught fish more as far as roaming around. You know, when the sun's up, they're more tighter to cover, trying to get shade. Again, when you have a front come in and you have, like I said, cloud cover, things like that, it scatters the fish out more. If there's more of a scientific answer, I don't really know. That's just how the lakes work for me.
Ask her that.
Heard the real noise. Let's see here. Is the trade between wives, shoes, clothes, and fishermen tackle is a 50-50 balance? Yeah. What's your thoughts on the Johnny? Stop these chicken table. Stop playing with the dog. Hey, stop. What's your thoughts on Johnny Moore's Carbon Light 2.0 casting rods? I haven't used them, but years ago I used to use a lot of the Johnny Moore stuff. I mean, it's top notch. You can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. What's going on, Sean? Do you think it's good started bass boat, kayak, or a John boat? Me personally, I'd go with the John boat just because I really don't want to sit. I think my back would just kill me fishing out of a kayak. We used to go to, we still do. We go to Branson and rent a kayak and all that and do little kayak trips. But I mean, a few hours of doing that, you get up, your back's pretty stiff. So I would personally, for me, I'd go with the John boat just so I can sit up a little bit higher. Do you plan on trying a Shimano Big? That's what we're doing with all the donations here. We're doing the Super Chat giveaway. Anyone that donates is entered to win the Pro Box this week. I'm putting all that money towards the Corrado DC. You guys have been asking me to review that reel, so that's what we're going to do. Wife question. Do you think bass are truly affected by moon phases, meaning they bite more in certain moon phases?
I would have to agree with what Jim had said as far as the light goes. When they can see more and other fish are more active, then that may spark an innate desire for them to fish, or to eat. Just like whenever you guys do the difference between reaction strike or a hunger strike.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that just all that bait and everything else becoming more and more moving around and things like that may initiate a hunger feed, whatever it's called. I don't know.
Okay. Have you heard about Berkeley's X5 braided line? I hear it's best for spinning rods. I've seen it. I haven't really heard anything about it, bud. Let's see here. What's a good non-chipping tungsten bullet weight? We were talking about them earlier. Picasso, the color is gunmetal. This color is like within the weight. It cannot chip on you. It won't chip. I've used them all. Last year, I have weights that I used all season, and they're still black. So it cannot chip. It cannot chip. You can see like teeth marks and stuff on it like that, but it's still black. Again, it cannot chip off. Let's see here. I've got a big, deep V bottom, really light front end, very hard to load. Any tips? I'll tell you what. I need to do a video on how I load and unload my boat. I do it. I don't use the motor, and how I do it might help you guys out. Like I said, I put her in, use a rope tied to the dock, and I pull it up with the rope as well. And again, I'll show you guys how I do that this spring. It could help you guys out. Northern Bass, what's up? Scott, what's going on, dude? No, I have not done the battle box yet, and I probably won't post the video for a couple months. Reason being is I talked to the owner the other day, and the battle box is it's out of stock till like May. So I don't want to make the video now, and I'm going to have it loaded up. I don't want to make the video now, and then you guys can't get it for a couple months. So I'll probably put the video out right about the time that the boxes are back in stock. There was a fish die-off at my neighbor's pond about October. Is there something that would cause this?
There's many things that could have caused that. One of the main things that cause a fish die-off is usually if your neighbor's pond is anywhere near any farm ground, and it doesn't have to be directly butted up against it. It just has to be close enough for a large rain or anything like that's going to wash all the fertilizers and everything else down into the ground, and everything always ends up into a water source. So those extra fertilizers would have gone in, and the algae and stuff like that will feed off of that. And then when they have an algal bloom and all of those resources are then removed, then you have your bacteria that come in and feed on those. And that bacteria utilizes all the oxygen, and therefore it asphyxiates the fish. And that's generally what causes the fish die off.
I've seen that a lot at Lake X. What would you fish in 36-degree weather in the snow? Nothing. That's what I wouldn't be fishing. Most likely, I would have. I'd be frozen. Are you fishing a power plant lake?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you'd have to be if 36-degree weather in the snow. Yeah, I wouldn't fish at all. That's what I would do. Maybe ask Phantom Fishing. What new baits are excited to use this year? New baits. Definitely the Vile Bug, because I got that at the end of last season. I don't have a whole lot of time with it, and I do believe that's going to be a big player this year. So definitely the Vile Bug. Go on, see. Have a great night, Tackle Junkie family. Time to cook for my family. That's cool, dude. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. Can you give me a shout out, and what would you use in 2 weeks on the lakes of the Ozarks? I haven't fished Lake of the Ozarks, so I really couldn't tell you. Just from what I've heard, probably I think a lot of guys use those rock crawlers down there, crankbaits. I mean, again, I haven't fished it, so I really couldn't tell you. But your shout out, catching bass with every cast. There you go. Appreciate the $5. How do you say your name there? How do I butcher that? You know what that name is?
You know what? Your eyes are better than mine.
Anecdotes.
Enrique Silva.
There we go. Appreciate the $5, buddy. You were entered in the giveaway. Didn't want to butcher your name there. Great moon tips. Never thought of fishing later in morning for the full moon phase. Have you ever went? I have not went ice fishing, and I was actually really thinking about it this year with Phantom Fishing. I think he only had one day that the ice was safe enough to walk on, and then that was it. So
We've had very bipolar weather here.
no, the SX has got a different brake system in it. Again, I'll do a video on that. Jeff Holland, since vegetation produces oxygen during daylight hours and fish more likely to hang out there later in the day because of the oxygen saturated waters?
I mean, I would imagine they would, because that is more oxygen there, more availability for them to just kind of relax and not have to move around and stuff like that to keep that oxygen going over their gills a lot. So it could be a reason why.
Looks like I'm going to go ahead and give my mom a shout out. I guess she was trying to leave comments and she can't figure out how to do it. So she's doing it on Facebook Messenger so I can see it. So how you doing, Mom? Jim, I bought 2 River to CS waivers. What rod and line would you recommend for these glide baits? Joe, I'm going to start with 20-pound mono, Suffolk Siege, what I'm going to start with. And I'm just going to use one of my frog rods to start, just to see how that rod does before I get a specific rod for those baits. It is a heavy power, fast action rod. It's got a 2-ounce tip, so it's plenty good for the 168s. And again, 20-pound mono, lower gear ratio reel is what I'm going to start with. Let's see here. The professor is in the house. Her knowledge separates your channel from any other on YouTube. I appreciate that, Jeff.
Thank you.
What?
I'll go ahead and link all her videos down below just because she did make some good ones. What are your thoughts on MLF? I get asked that a lot. I mean, it's a cool series. I used to watch it before the new tour, but if I could just choose just one, I'd rather watch the old school elites. I mean, I'd rather just do the 5 fish, weigh it out. You know, it's just how I like to watch it. Oh, here's a good one from Phantom Fishing. If you haven't checked him out, I'll give him a shout out. Go check him out. But he says, does weather play a role of Jim's going fishing?
He does melt when it rains.
Yeah. No comment.
Don't replace me.
Bait caster versus spinner. Bait caster is typically for heavier line, more power fishing. Spinning reels is more for lighter line, more finesse techniques. And I got a video on Mystery Tackle Box's channel on how to use a baitcaster, and I talk about that in the beginning of that video. So lighter line, lighter lures, usually spinning, heavier line, heavier lures, more power fishing, baitcaster. Phantom is the man. I got to hand it to him. He is pretty cool dude every once in a while. Man, I feel like it's a good overall reel for any size baits. I believe you'll just have to have a way easier time throwing lighter lures with the DC than any other reel. I'm using mine for lighter lures. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a 7-speed just for lighter lures. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. Of course, my thought was right off the bat, go 6-speed and crank with it. But if it's meant for lighter lures, I think I'm going to go 7-speed.
Is there anyone for me?
I heard the best time to go fishing is when you can go. I totally agree, dude. Catching bass with every cast. There's your shout out, buddy. Crowd DC is nice, but like the Metanium MGL, a bit better. The DC is supposed to skip awesome, but haven't tried it yet. What editing app do you use? What do
Premiere.
Premiere.
Adobe Premiere.
Adobe Premiere. Any thoughts on brass sinkers? I like brass on Carolina rigs, things like that. I think you get a little more noise out of them. Other than that, it's pretty much all I use them for. I don't really use lead anymore. Pretty much all tungsten for Texas rigs and things like that. Do you think anglers will buy Guggen baits and put them in different bags when they fish a tournament so no one knows what they are using? That's a good question. I don't know. I know a lot of guys give those guys hate, but they're doing big things. More power to them. Those baits, I don't know I don't really know the story behind them. They do look very similar to striking baits, and I think there's something, maybe striking has something to do with it, or maybe they bought a patent from them. I really don't remember what I heard on that anymore, but there are good looking baits. So I'm sure they'll catch fish. I'm sure eventually I'll try them out. What's going on, Bill? I finished cleaning lube of my last 2 reels last night. That's cool, dude. Yeah, there is a big bean field next to the pond, so now I know. Yep. How much difference is there in 4-strand compared to 8-strand braid? To be honest, I think I've only used 8-strand, buddy. So I really couldn't tell you on that one. Let's see, I've used what's it called? 832. I like Bass Pro. I've used that before, which was an 8-strand. Sunline FX2, which is an 8-strand. And I think I used Cigar Flipping Braid. I think it was an 8-strand as well. I can't say I've used any 4-strand. Would that Pro Qualifier be a good starter reel to teach a kid how to throw a backcaster? I tell you what, that's an awesome reel for a beginner, for more advanced. At one time, that was the only reel that I used. I have a video on how to use a baitcaster. I'm using the Rick Glenn reel. It's just a step up from the Pro Qualifier. Only difference is it's got more bearings. But I show you in that video how to adjust the dual braking. But it's hard to backlash with that reel if you adjust it correctly. He'll love it for sure. What's going on, Victor? Are you a fan of the French fry style worm? If so, what brand? No, dude, I haven't fished those in a long, long time. When I was first getting into fishing, I used to throw those a lot, kind of wacky rig. But I haven't thrown them in a long time. Lewis, I appreciate the $5, buddy. You were entered in the giveaway. Anyone just tuning in, the Sunday night giveaway is for the Pro Box. If you guys donate, I put you in a little giveaway for the Pro Box there, and I'll go through the analytics after the video's done, and I'll pick a winner. But you guys have to look back in the comments so you can reply to me, and I get your address. J Pops, what's going on? Rob, I'm sorry I didn't get back sooner. Was in rehab, was addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around. Good deal, Rob. Good deal, bud. Jeff Holland, why have they been trying to kill the grasses on Lake Okeechobee and other Florida lakes? I thought vegetation was good for cleaning the water.
More than likely, it may be an invasive species, and if it's an invasive species, it's not going to benefit the water system at all. It's actually going to but it's going to harm all of those native species, whether that be plant or aquatic animals.
I didn't know that, so good thing she was down here.
I know.
832 Power Pro. I haven't used a slick. 832, it just seemed like it was real like it didn't have a whole lot of feel to it. That's why I stopped using it. I kind of use 832 for videos now if I'm tying knots and things like that. But I really wasn't a fan of 832. My favorite braid for years and to this date has got to be Sunline FX2. Do you have a favorite bluegill lure for bass? Bluegill lure. Probably just a square bill that looks like a bluegill, or bluegill swim jigs I use a lot. I'll tell you what, the Summer Gill, I think it was called, Kitech swim bait. I use that one a lot. Get a regular Corrado K or a Crown MGL. If you really want to go DC, go to Amazon and get Scorpion. It has a more advanced DC brake. Okay. Appreciate the comment there. If you had to throw someone of your boat, would it be Phantom? Oh, if I had to throw someone off my boat, Phantom or Watts? Definitely Mike Watts, yeah.
Or Mike.
JB, appreciate the $5, buddy. You're entered in the giveaway. Great having the entire family here. Most underrated channel on YouTube. I do appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the donation. There are two guys sponsored by Guggen Baits on MLF, Jacob Wheeler and Dustin Connell. Yep. Yeah, I knew Wheeler was. Scott Martin left Okuma. Are you going to jump on the Guggen squad favorite rods now? No, I have no intentions of leaving Okuma, and a lot of guys are just assuming Scott left Okuma, which I'm sure he was going to leave anyways. Is how those guys are all kind of sticking together. But just from what I know, it was budget cuts is why really none of the pros are with Okuma anymore at the moment. So I'm not going to get into really details. That's just what I heard. And those guys got to make money. So if they can't get paid from one company, I guess they jump to the next. So a lot of guys are asking about that rod, though. Is his rod going to be discontinued? I would imagine even if Scott was still with them, that rod was due to be upgraded anyway. So I'm sure even if he was still there, a new rod would be coming out. So I've got 165 people on, 116 thumbs up. Can we do a little better than that, guys?
Everybody, smash it up.
What are some of your favorite frogs to use? I've always loved the Spro frogs as far as hollow belly goes. Live target are great. Slither K. As far as soft goes, my favorite, without a doubt, is the Rage Toad, green pumpkin, chartreuse belly. I got some old school videos of catching fish on those. I wouldn't recommend you go watch them. The footage is pretty bad, but that's one of my favorite frogs.
Awesome.
You guys pronounced my name right. Dude, your channel is hands down the best. Love the content. I do appreciate that, buddy. What did you say his name was?
Enrique.
Enrique, okay.
Enrique something.
How do you find new bodies of water and know they're public? I'll be honest, that's a good question. I really don't know, as I don't really go searching for new bodies of water. I'd imagine probably like what, Google Earth, something like that. It would be my first thought.
Google or your local county. Even the state of Illinois shows like all public access lakes and things like that. So I'd imagine your state should have something.
Me.
Do you change your split rings on the KVD 1.5 or just the hooks? Just the hooks. The split rings on the KVD 1.5, they're solid. There's no reason to change those at all. And really, I only changed the ones on the Bomber. I only downsized them just to be able to fit bigger hooks. Other than that, those split rings will be good as well. But the owner split rings are awesome. If you are going to swap out split rings, definitely go to the owners. The Hyperwire, they're awesome. Top 3 jerk baits. Probably Vision 110 is number 1. The Duo, and probably Lucky Craft. And I'm not a big jerkbait guy. Normally, if I grab one, my first one's going to be Vision 110. North Florida Fishing 42. What's going on, buddy? Any good lakes that you know of near Edwardsville, Illinois that isn't private? You can message me on Facebook, something like that. We can talk, but I don't ever say really publicly where I fish. What's some of the best baits I can use on a 6-foot medium action spinning rod? 6-foot medium action. Well, this is something I talk about in the video that I made today. Medium is the power. I would need to know the action, because if it's a moderate action, you can use more moving baits on it. If it's a fast action, you could throw like little drop shots and things like that on there. But I'm just going to assume it's a fast action rod. Spinning, I would use it for more finesse, worms, like Texas rigs, like I said, drop shot, Nico rig, wacky rig, things like that. My mom wants to know how big Mike's birthday party was.
Pretty big, kinda.
Joshua, yeah, she makes me feel stupid sometimes too, buddy. I got Scott Martin's autograph at Indy's Boat Sport and Travel Show. That's cool, dude. Hey, love the channel, love the content. You have helped me catch a lot of bass. Glad to hear, buddy. Appreciate you supporting the channel. You're great. Keep up the great content. Sounds like the lady is a marine biologist. I didn't serve in the armed forces myself, but much respect for your service, ma'am.
I'm not a marine biologist. I just really enjoy learning about that.
You do?
Yes.
Biospawn ever going to get into making hard baits? Not that I know of. I know there's a few more soft baits in the lineup, so keep a lookout for those. Victor, I appreciate the $5, buddy. You're entered in the giveaway. Again, the giveaway is for the Pro Box. Got the Pro Qualifier 2 limited as first bait caster opening day on the sale. I've been practicing casting in the yard every day since, and I have to intentionally try to... Yeah, dude, it's hard to backlash that reel. Dual braking, especially for the beginner, is the way to go. The pins is for the beginning of the cast. The magnetics is for the end of the cast. So if you start to spool up at the end of the cast, just click up the magnets on the outside and you're good to go. I mean, really, once I set those pin brakes, I mean, I never really mess with them. So I mean, it really is an awesome reel. I mean, I can't even believe they're even selling it for $50. I mean, at retail, full retail, $100, it's a killer deal. JB, have you ever tried throwing the Gantarelle Jr.? I have not. The puppy is awesome. Show picture
Yeah.
of Jim with hair.
I have never seen him with hair. I've only ever seen pictures of when he was a teenager.
Yep.
His mother has been trying to get him to grow his hair out for years.
I did. Last year, I grew a little mohawk. I did too. Remember? You shaved it. It was like right here.
Okay, no.
You look like a weirdo.
I'm like a weirdo.
Being like 1/10 of an inch longer than the rest of your hair is not a mohawk.
Okay, is there going to be enough room on your new pegboard for all your bomber squares? That's a good question. That is a good question. We'll find out here soon.
I don't know.
Terminator makes a good frog. 6 Sense movement. That is a good one. Tips on getting more subscribers. I'm just on a popular niche of custom lures. That's a good question. I mean, so some guys start YouTube and within a year or two, I mean, they've already blew up, got 100,000 or more. I've been doing this for like, what, 8 years? And I only have 45,000. So whenever I figure out how to get more subs, I'll make a video about it. Because for doing it this long, I should have way more than I have. So I don't really know what the trick is. I know a lot of guys do these challenge videos and things like that. Or I think they probably even set it up to do fights on the water and all that kind of stuff. Which, I'm not going to change who I am to try and get a bunch of views and subscribers. So eventually I'll get there, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered venturing into musky fishing? I tell you what, if I was not bass fishing, musky fishing is what I would be doing. I do want to musky fish. What's the one lure that you regretted buying?
Not my chomper's worm.
Not chomper's worm. Probably. That's a tough one. To be honest, that's a good question. I really don't know. I can't say I've ever really bought a lure that just completely sucked. So I don't know. That's a good question. Mike, I appreciate the $5, buddy. You're entered in the giveaway. Dude, I have to ask. I've been watching a lot of your old unboxing videos. How come your old videos only showed your hands and baits? I don't really know. I guess I was always trying to get close to the camera just so I could show you what I was doing. And that's a good question. I really don't know. And I was talking to Fluke Master one day, and he goes, dude, show your face. So because of him, you now see my face. Whether you want to see it or not, you can thank Fluke for that, And are oval split rings better than round split rings for tying your baits to? Yes, they are. Normally I use a size 2 or 3, 2 the most. And the deal with an oval on the line tie is when you tie your knot, you don't have to check to see if you're tying in the split. That's the advantage of using an oval split ring as your line tie. Another quality live stream, Jim, and thanks for the info. My go-to YouTube channel. Best wishes to you and your family. Have a great week. Appreciate it, Joe.
Can I read one?
All right, Mike, read this one right here.
I love your dog. So cute.
All right, thanks, buddy. We got 173 people on, 148 thumbs up. We're doing pretty good, guys. Phantom Fishing. Here we go. Tackle Junkie. How long does it take you to... How long does it take me to edit a video? I've never edited a video because she does it. So
He doesn't even know the software we use.
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
That's sad.
I take that back. When I first made videos, I did put a few up. There was no edits. I just remember that because I would call you at work and ask you how to do that.
Yeah, through much frustration and cussing, he finally would get it up.
I do appreciate the good questions, though, Phantom. I do appreciate that, buddy. What is the biggest swim bait you would throw in place with a 10-pound state record? I'm not really a swim bait guy, so I really don't know. I would think 8 to 10 inch, something like that. Tactical Bassin would really be the channel to answer that question. Thank you so much for making a video on how to clean your baitcaster reels. There's a big difference when you clean. Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, definitely makes a big difference. I mean, from the factory, they pack so much grease in those reels. I think just to get them to the warranty stage, when you clean a lot of that grease out, it really does smoothen up the reel. All right. Normally, your local DNR should have a website that tells you what is public. I know Indiana DNR do, and it normally like where to fish. Okay. JP, appreciate the $4.99, buddy. You're entered in the giveaway. Anyone just tuning in, whoever donates is entered in the giveaway for the Pro Box this week. Caden, appreciate that, buddy. Steve, when will most females stop lying when they say personality is more important than looks? When it comes to relationships, is that true? Then why are so many less average-looking nice dudes single?
I'll tell you what, there's something wrong with some ladies that they only look at looks, because I know several right now that are looking for a really good guy, and it's like, go for personality. So I'm a big personality.
I mean, with you, it was a win-win. You got personality and looks, right?
Yes.
I'll pay for that one later, right? Most females mainly care about looks and money when it comes to relationships.
I always say, go for somebody who makes you laugh. That is the only reason this one is still alive, and I haven't buried him in the backyard yet. So he makes me laugh, and he's my best friend. That's what you should always go for.
I make you laugh.
All right, Steve, what's with all the, we're going to tell you what here.
Oh, you just tap on the screen.
All right. We're back. It was quick.
That's great.
Where we at? Andy, I'm blaming you for that, man.
It's always Andy's fault.
Andy's fault. Where are we at? All right.
I like it.
Any reviews on the Spro Little John flat side square bill? Well, Little John, I haven't thrown that in a long time. I'm not sure I even have anymore. I think after I broke off my last one, I'm not sure I even have those anymore. But it's something I can pick up and do a review on that.
Can I read another one?
Let's see here. What are some nice youth sunglasses?
I mean, we haven't gone wrong with ones from Bass Pro.
The ones that have Spider-Man on them?
We have many pairs of sunglasses floating in the bottom of Lake X.
Yeah.
Floating in the bottom of them.
That's funny.
the
Floating in the bottom.
Floating in the bottom.
Yeah, my son, what were those? Those were not Wiley X. Those were
bait solar bats.
solar bats.
I just gave them to him.
Yeah, they were hers.
Let him borrow them just to fish with you.
And he put them on, and we're in the middle of the lake because he's trying to learn how to use baitcaster. He makes a cast, and I guess he comes across his face and smacks the glasses off right in the water.
That's balls.
How do you get your wife to support your tackle habits? Mine goes nuts when she finds out how much I have, how much it costs. Please help.
Don't tell her.
I don't know. He supports my habits, so which again is shoes and clothes and everything.
Don't tell her.
So.
That's all you gotta do.
And guys too, I mean, there are some sponsors to this channel, so I'm not out buying all this gear that you see.
Can I read another one?
The dog is a Havapoo. Loving the vids, Tackle Junkie. Keep up the good work. What is your favorite bait made by Biospawn? Probably the Biocrawl. I've caught a lot of fish on that one. JT Casting, he just got a sub. Let's see here. I came across 3/4 ounce evergreen jackhammer chatterbait. Any application where you would use anything that heavy? I'd imagine if you're trying to fish down on ledges and things like that, deeper water, you're gonna want something that heavy. But I mean, I'm fishing pretty shallow majority of the time. 3/8 is my go-to size. I'll even use quarter if I'm fishing really, really shallow.
What? Thank you.
Do I ever use Power Team lures anymore? Oh yeah, dude. The Crawdad is still one of my go-to baits. I love that on a little shaky head, jig trailer, things like that.
Can I read one? Which
Go ahead.
one?
Read that one.
Hey, how do you gain sponsorship if you only bank fish kayak?
I mean, you need to get a following somewhere, whether it be, I know plenty of guys that only bank fish. I mean, Matt, he only bank fishes, as far as I know. and I'm sure he's working with a few companies. I mean, mainly you just need to catch some fish. Make sure you're posting videos, posting pictures, tagging the company, and eventually they will notice you. I like your hairstyle. I'm about to get the same haircut, but I'll tell you what, it saves time in the morning, man. You know, it's pretty easy.
Please. I like Bell's haircut.
How long do plastic baits last in storage? That's a good question. I really don't know. I mean, I buy and sell a lot of tackle, so I don't have anything that's too old, maybe 8-10 years. I know probably the more salt they have in them, I would imagine they would deteriorate sooner, but I really don't know just how long they will last. Like I said, I know I have stuff that's 10 years old easy, and it's still like brand new. But again, I think it would depend how much salt is in it. Guess who might win an Oscar? I have no idea.
Me.
I watch a lot of YouTube. It seems like that the videos that focus on tips for the beginner get lots of views and subs. You may want to try a few of those type videos and see what happens. I mean, I got like
a lot for beginners.
I got like 700 something videos, and if you scroll through them, there's quite a few that are for beginners. Hey, how to oil the bait casting and technique for cleaning video. Yeah, I got videos on my channel on that. What's your best crankbait? Probably KVD 1.5 Bomber Square A. Do you take cash money dollars for that giveaway? No, just the donations on Super Chat, bud. Hey, what's the best way to ask pro for pro tips and guidance and fishing knowledge? So this way, I don't get the question. What's the best way to ask pro for pro tips and guidance? I'm not sure what you mean, bud.
Ask
You
a
mean
pro.
asking a pro for tips?
Walk up to him and ask nicely.
Quantum reels, I can't say that I've used quantum reels. Are there any special regulations to fish at a power plant lake? The reason that I don't go to the power plant lake that's closer to me is horsepower restrictions. It's a 25 horse max. I have 50 on my boat, so I got a troll everywhere. I only have a 12-volt system, and where I would like to fish on that particular lake is the furthest part away from the ramp. So horsepower restrictions is going to be the big one. TJ81, do you still upgrade your reel bearings with Boca bearings? I haven't in a while, but I mean, it's a great upgrade to do. You definitely gain some casting distance, and really it's just, it's easier to cast the same lure, you know, without, how am I trying to say that? Boca bearings, even if you don't get that much distance, it's easier casting the same lure with stock. So it's less effort, I guess that's what I want to say. It's less effort to cast the same lure with stock bearings, and you do gain a little more distance. You got 45,000 friends, a great family. You have a room full of lures and tackle and enjoy the outdoors and this great fraternity of sportsmen. You win. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that, Rod.
I win when I win.
And you guys are awesome too, man. What type of fishing glasses do you recommend? I use Wiley X. And tell you what, it's really hard. I guess it's Italian nose or whatever it is. It's really hard for me to find glasses that fit. Years ago, I used
Oakley.
I never had good luck with Oakley though.
When they had
But Solar Bats, out of all the glasses that Solar Bat offered, only one fit me. And then I went to Wiley X, and out of all the glasses they offer, there's only one that fits me. But Wiley X is what I really like. I remember when I first came across your channel, you gave us a walkthrough of your boat. It inspired me to do the same to mine and has improved my fishing. Great content. Appreciate it, Nick. What's going on, Cummings? Might get Oakleys or Costas, worried they might not fit my head. I tell you what, I tried on a bunch of Costas, and I couldn't find any that fit my head. Well, put it this way, they fit my head, but I just needed, I guess, a wider bridge. And I at least need like an 18 or 19, and a lot of those are smaller than that. Best weight for Ned rigs. I mean, usually guys go really light on those. I haven't fished them enough to really say the best weight. I wouldn't go too heavy. I mean, the heavier you go, the faster you're going to enter whatever cover you're fishing. Me, mostly it's rocks. That's why when I fish rock, I like a lighter weight. The faster you go in, the easier you get snagged. So usually lighter the better. I plan to fish that rig more this season. Next year, do an Oscar show on your best on your year best fishing gear. Great wife, both are great together. Appreciate it, Scott.
Thanks.
Is mono a disadvantage to fluoro when cranking square bills or medium divers? Really, mono, it depends what you want to do with the bait. Usually, like, this is based on like 12-pound test. Every 2 pounds you go up, and so if you go to 12, let's say 14, you lose a foot of depth with mono. So you can really adjust your depth using mono, just because it's a floating line. Again, you can't get as deep than you can with fluorocarbon. I almost feel like I get snagged less with mono. I think when I'm cranking with fluorocarbon, because it has less stretch, when I maybe go into a rock or something like that has a groove in, I think I get snagged in it more versus the mono. With the mono, have a little bit of stretch to give to it. I feel like I bounce off them better than fluorocarbon. I mean, I could be looking at that totally wrong. It just seems like when I fish mono, I get snagged less fishing the same areas. But again, you would just use mono or fluorocarbon really to adjust your depth. If you want your baits to go shallower, you can go heavier fluorocarbon if you want, or you can just go heavier mono, which will keep them even shallower than the heavier fluorocarbon. The Rippin' Mono, it's got a little bit bigger diameter. It's probably just as soft as Cinchi, but I would say over Rippin' Mono, I like Siege better. But I have a bunch of Cinchi left. When I knew that it was going to be discontinued, I bought 3,000 yard spools of it, so I won't run out of that for a while. But I did buy some Siege here recently just for the bigger diameter. Just for the reason that I mentioned earlier. If you're trying to keep your baits, your square bills, I'm going to use it for S waivers. If you're trying to keep them up shallower, a bigger diameter mono will do that. My spinnerbaits break after a couple of bass. The wire breaks. Is that normal? I mean, yes, they will break for sure. The lighter the wire is going to break much easier. I guess it really depends, how the bass tears them up. I mean, I can't say I've ever had one break after a couple fish. I mean, I'd say maybe 10, 12 fish, maybe one will break on me. But, I mean, it just could have been a bad spot in the wire. I mean, maybe they bent it up wrong. There's really no telling. But, I mean, it is normal for them to break. Normally not after a couple fish, but it is normal for them to break.
Can I read one of those?
What percent of tungsten do you fish? What is this? 97% pure tungsten. I use Picasso tungsten.
Hey, Dad. Can I read that one?
Read this one right here, Mike. Read it. It says,
Hey, where's your Beyblade, dude?
where's your Beyblades, dude?
Right. Oh, I'll go grab one. Bye.
No, I've never custom painted any crankbaits. What are you giving away, and where do you find out if you win? I'm giving away the Pro Box this week for the Super Chat giveaway. And what you guys have to do is when the video is processed, come back to the video. I'll leave a comment of who won. Then you need to reply back to me, and then you can email me or whatever so I can get your shipping info to ship the box out to you. So you have to look back once the video is processed. Once I end it, usually 10 minutes afterwards, the video will be live. I would have already gone through the winners, put you guys in a little random comment picker or whatever, pick the winner, and I'll have that down below. But anyone that enters, all you have to do is just do a little donation. It doesn't matter what it is, and you're entered in the giveaway. Phantom Fishing. What is your favorite dance in Fortnite? They're not down here. I don't know.
No. We can do the floss. That one's a rather.
Do you want to do it for us?
No.
What if we had like a certain amount of donations? Would you floss for us?
Quite possibly.
Okay.
What would it take for you to floss?
I'll do it right now.
You know what? Somebody needs to do like a $15 donation. They do a $15 donation.
$15 donation, and she'll floss for us.
I already did it.
Phantom Fishing here. He wanted to know what is your favorite dance in Fortnite?
Oh, for Electric Shuffle.
Electric Shuffle. All right, Randy just picked up a Pro Qualifier 2 from Bass Pro. What a heck of a dude! It's an awesome deal, man. Killer reel. Is your favorite reel Okuma? I like the Okuma reels on all my rods just because I like the feel of them. I like that they can handle light line, heavy line, braid. I mean, light lures, heavy lures. I mean, it's a good all-around reel. As far as my favorite reel goes, I have to think about every one that I have. I love the Zillions. Zillions is $100 more than those. It's hard to beat a Zillion, but again, it's $100 more. The Daiwa, what do I have? A Daiwa SV103. That's another killer reel there. It's discontinued. I have one that I've never even used. I held on to it because they're discontinued. The other one that I sold. Again, but those are like $350. I mean, price goes up. So you get more options, obviously, with a more expensive reel. But I mean, for this price range, I mean, it's hard to beat the Okuma reels in the $200 price range. But that's a good question. I have plastics over 20 years old, and they have always been stored in the house. No excessive heat on them, and they're just like new. Okay.
Hey, Dad.
Dickie Haskins, what's going on, dude? Favorite place to fish? I don't ever say where I fish, bud. I have a pair of Costas. My Costas lens started fading around the edge. They replaced them for me for free. Yeah, I heard they do have great customer service.
Hey, Dad.
What?
Can I say what these are?
Go ahead and tell us what you got, Mike.
Legends Frozen and a dual threat launcher.
We were ready to go. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate
Okay.
the coughing too, dude. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
All right, here we go. One for Becca here. What is the cause effect of a lake or pond turning over?
Temperature.
Temperature?
Temperature.
That's it?
Yeah. That's pretty
That's
much it. That's
Temperature.
going to cause the lake to turn over each time. It's, remember, like I said, why that thermocline forms is because of that 4 degrees Celsius difference in that water. And remember, as water is more dense as it gets colder, that's why ice will float in water instead of sink. So that's the whole purpose, is temperature is what's going to turn over. Now, and wind can also help if it's a very shallow body of water. Wind can help turn that over too.
Okay, I just seen something come in here. My mom, since she can't put a comment on here, her comment just came on Facebook Messenger, and she said she'll donate the $15 to Becca to floss.
I know she's got to figure out how to donate it live.
All right, she got you there, Mom.
But thanks, Debbie, for looking out. I
Any
appreciate it.
tournament fishing coming in your future? Probably not. Is 17-pound line too heavy for a 3/8 to a half-ounce chatterbait with plastic shell? Not at all. I know a lot of guys fish 20. Normally I fish 15-pound, but yeah, 17's fine. 34.6-pound brown trout caught at Taneycomo on 4-pound line. Wow. Let's go do that, dude. Do you add scent to any lures? I add scent to almost everything. Hard baits, I usually put on, what's it even called? KVD fish sticks. I'm always spraying some type of garlic. JJ's Magic, you name it, bang. I use a lot of different scents. I fish muddy water. I believe in rattles and scent a lot. What made you want to become so influenced with bass fishing? Pretty much what I'm asking is, what got you into fishing? I mean, I fished a lot with my dad when I was younger, catfishing mostly, and it wasn't really until I got with my wife here that I really got into bass fishing. Her family had some farm ponds close to where we lived, and that's where I got into bass fishing. And I knew I wanted to get involved somehow, and with my work schedule, I really couldn't tournament fish, I really couldn't trail, I really can't do a whole lot. So I knew doing this would somehow get me involved in the fishing community. So let's see here. What's the most snag-proof setup for fishing soft plastics on a rocky bottom? What's the most snag-proof soft plastic setup? I mean, snag-proof setup, rocky bottom. I wouldn't drag a jig. I mean, probably, I guess it would depend on the rock, because you could maybe drag a Carolina rig if it's smaller rock and things like that. Texas rig your bait would be above the rock. You wouldn't get snagged as easy. That would probably be my solution there. Let's see here. What's his name there? I want to say his name wrong.
I got it.
What are you looking at?
Let's say JSAVELY.
Jay Sabley?
Jay Savely. I don't want to say your name wrong. Appreciate the $5, buddy. You're entered in the giveaway. To have a family like yours is my goal. You guys love and enjoy each other is a lot, and it always shows. My brother-in-law got his first combo Pro Qualifier 2. Of course, gonna go grab myself a few. Dude, you can't beat him, RJ, man. To Mr. Junkie, are you going on any fishing trips this year?
I get out as much as I can with him.
So that would be no. I think last year she got out maybe twice all year.
Good.
Impressive. That's all we need.
Should I get the Bass Mafia Terminal coffin? For the price, I didn't really care for the coffin.
A coffin.
I mean, the regular ones are good for the price. I think they're around $30 or so. But $50 for that coffin, I mean, it's a good box, solid box. I don't know if you guys would have it. Just for me, I did see $50 there for how you can organize with it. But I mean, some guys may love it for that. I mean, just for me personally, I didn't want it. Would you use the Okuma EVX 6-8 medium heavy for jigs? That rod there, bud, it's got a softer action for it. It's meant for moving baits. It's more like a spinnerbait rod. So I'm not saying you couldn't use it for jigs, but that's not what it's meant for. I would want a little bit faster action rod for jigs, a little bit longer. Yeah, that's more of a moving bait rod. Can you show us some of your baits? I mean, I got plenty of videos on tackle and things like that, bud. Yeah, we said, $15. Get to dancing.
Okay.
Got it.
I don't even know.
Steve, TX, appreciate the $15, buddy. She's going to floss. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
We need a time limit here. Let's say, like, what, 10 seconds?
Here, Michael, you can floss with me.
Hold on.
Oh, God.
We got to get you in there. Hold on.
As long as I get to rip a Beyblade.
Make sure it focuses.
All right.
E.
Ready?
Let's do it. Oh, Mike, she's way better than you, dude. What are you doing?
You gotta get the.
What do you call
I
that?
don't know what that one's called.
All right. She did. Hope some of your students seen that.
Oh God, they've seen enough of that.
All right. Appreciate that, Steve.
If another
Thank
one,
you, Steve.
Hey, Dad, if there's another $15 donation, then he does it.
I think that.
No,
should
that ain't happening. That's not happening.
$1 donation.
That ain't happening. Forget that.
$1
TJ, I
donation.
threw the Bomber Square A in the red color on Falcon last week. Works great even for Texas bass. Dude, that bait will catch fish anywhere, man. All right, someone don't. Yeah, Doug, we already did it, buddy. What is your favorite lure and line? Favorite lure's got to be Square Bill, KOD 1.5, Bomber Square A, 12 to 15 pounds, Seaguar and Vizex. Favorite fish to eat, crappie. Yeah, we're behind here. Let's see here.
Quit licking my foot.
Come on, fine.
The Tackle Junkie and Junkyard show. Nice to have your whole family involved. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. What are weight rings to add to hooks? Weight rings. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, bud. Luke, appreciate the $1.99, buddy.
Dad, I said
Favorite plastic from Jackall? That's got to be the hog. Oh, what's that called? I don't have any sitting around here.
Hey, Dad.
It's just their hog, like their creature type bait, their hog, kind of like a Berkeley power hog. I forget the name of it, but that would be my favorite one there from Jackall.
Hey, Dad.
All right,
I said $1 donation and you flossed.
I ain't doing it, man. Nope, I ain't doing it.
Fine then.
I keep hearing that Texas rigged soft plastic are better than jigs in the spring. Do you agree? If so, why or not? I think there's a lot of guys that prefer jigs over soft plastics and vice versa. Me personally, I throw soft plastic more than a jig. I feel you get bigger bites with a jig, but I don't really have the patience to fish a jig that much. And again, I think it's more of a bigger fish bait, and I get more bites on plastics, just downsizing with a smaller profile. So I throw soft plastics more than I throw jigs. Again, I throw a jig, but it's not that much. If I get to an area, it looks good, I'm going to pick up a soft plastic before a jig, just for those reasons, just because I'm looking for bites, not so much the big fish. Of course, I'd like to catch big fish, but I mean, the lakes that I fish are tough enough. So again, I just go for the soft plastic just to be able to get some bites. Say I caught something. What's up, Tackle Junkie? Had to give you a hard time about your baits. Yeah, no problem, buddy.
Babe?
Awesome to see all the family involved in fishing. Tungsten versus lead. Yeah, I mean, tungsten's more sensitive. I don't really use lead anymore, but the main reason that I went to tungsten was the size. Hang on, you guys moving around. We're getting blurred here.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't do that.
Oh, Mike, I'm blaming you.
I'm getting out of here. Is it better?
There we go.
I don't know.
Yeah, tungsten, the main reason I switched to tungsten was just the size. If you compare like a half-ounce tungsten to a half-ounce lead, I mean, the lead is huge. So just to get you in and out of cover much better, I went to tungsten, but it is more sensitive. You just had better feel with the tungsten over the lead. But I mean, you're going to pay for the tungsten over the lead too, though. Nice job. I got 15 more for TJ to do it. No way, dude. Ain't happening, man.
Do it.
No way. Do you have a day job? Yeah, I work for my dad. He owns a truck washing business. I help him wash trucks. Been doing that for going on 25 years.
Long time.
Impressive.
I look forward to seeing your live stream every week. Nice job, buddy. Appreciate it, Steve. You the man, dude. What is your favorite brand of spinnerbait? Picasso and Viswire. Tungsten rings from Sebile. I can't say I've even heard of those, bud. Yeah, that's it. Chunk crawl.
Oh.
Favorite punching bait? I don't do a whole lot of punching. We don't have a whole lot of mats and things like that. But one that I throw a lot would be the Gambler. Why not? It's a punch bait. I don't use it for that. I kind of like it on a shaky head, but that's a good bait. Ton of cool colors in that bait too. I worked for my dad this summer and saved up for a boat. I got a John boat and turned into a bass boat. This winter I have worked a lot on my rod and reel arsenal. Now I am saving for more gear. That's cool, dude. A little bit at a time, man. How much to get TJ anyone to do the dance? Ain't happening, man. Ain't happening.
$1.
I don't know if I can do it.
100. $1. 300.
Now you guys are making me think about should I do it? I don't.
$3.
Maybe that should be next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. Next time she did it this stream, I'll do it next stream. How about
Next
that?
time you do it for an hour.
Okay. How come you don't do any unboxings? They helped me. How come you don't do any? You may want to look back some of my videos, but I got a bunch on here.
You do?
I do a lot this time of year just because I'm not on the water fishing. I'm usually stocking up for the season, so this time of year I usually do quite a few. And if you look back, I got quite a few on here. What's a good tackle backpack for bank fishing? The latest one that I'm using is the one from PC Fun. Really like that one.
Nice bag.
Tackle Junkie Jr. Make your dad happy and go fishing with him. You might really like it.
You hear that?
Dude, this dude right here, man, he was
There's no one there.
really into it at one time. I mean, I used to pick him up from school. We'd go right to the lake. He was really into it.
All he wanted to do was fish.
I even got a video. You know what? It's in a video, actually.
It's in.
It's in one of my videos where I asked him what he wants for Christmas. I think we were out fishing around November, something like that. I said, dude, what do you want for Christmas? And he's like, fishing. And now it's like, you don't want nothing.
Beyblades.
Yeah, Beyblades.
Beyblades.
What's your PB? On a scale, I think it's 6'4". And the one that you guys know that I always talk about that I caught at the little park lake here, I know that was a 7-pound fish. I did not weigh it. I do have video. You guys can watch that video and see for yourself. But it was definitely a 7-pounder. Yep, Jack all chunk crawl. That was it. Thank you for the quality videos. No problem, but appreciate you tuning in. Got to run. Great night with the family. Keep up the excellent work. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, buddy. Do you have any problems with tungsten chipping and the paint coming off? Oh, for sure, man. The older weights, like the Strike King ones I used to use a lot. True Tungsten, Eco Pro, all those chipped. But the Picasso here, but it has to be the gunmetal. That gunmetal color it's within the weight. It cannot chip off. I have weights I used all last year that still have the paint on them. Like I said, it can't chip. It's within the weight. You can see like some teeth marks on it, but again, all the paint is there. It cannot chip off. Let's see here. Does your wife enjoy fishing? Mine doesn't, but she does go with me. She does enjoy it when she goes.
I do. I like to fish. It's actually very relaxing.
I took her last year, and if you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see these pictures. We went to the lake. I'm fishing, and
We were not catching anything.
but you can't catch fish if you're not fishing, right? So she had a rope tied to the boat, and then she was like 20 foot away in like an inner tube, floating out in the water.
And that was my relaxing moment.
And I'm dragging her while I'm fishing. So you can't catch fish if you're not fishing big, What's your favorite fish to catch? Largemouth bass. What does the wife do for a job?
I'm the STEM director at a private school.
What's your favorite bed fishing bait? I don't really do any bed fishing just because I fish muddy water. I can't really see any beds. But I search for bedding fish with a square bill or spinnerbait. And if I catch a bedding fish, then I'll slow down and work that entire bank, with a creature bait or something like that. But I got to find them first. And since I can't see them, I crank for them. Have you ever used wing grips? If so, what do you think about them? I actually won those in a giveaway on Instagram from them. I won a few packs of them last year. And then they were behind some of the stuff on my pegboard, and I forgot all about them. So I've never tried them yet. I will put those to work this year. What color KVD 1.5 is good for muddy water? Gizzard shad, which is just pretty much a white blackback, and chartreuse blackback. That's my go-to colors right there. Exo Swimmer Kitech. Exo Swim is definitely more durable. Kitech, I like the color options better, and I like that they're actually bigger. But Biospawn does have a few things in the work, so just keep a lookout for that. Great live feed tonight, Jim. See you next time. Have a great night. Appreciate it, top notch. How does your wife feel about you buying so much tackle? She must say, don't you already have that?
No, honestly, I'm good. I'm just like blown away sometimes whenever I come down here and it's like, wow, you do have a lot of tackle.
say
But
that
then
to
again, when we go out and I like to try one of everything whenever we fish, it's kind of nice that he has all that tackle.
And she has a lot of shoes.
And Mom asks that to me. Hey, do you have this Beyblade? Hey, do you have
See,
that
any
one?
boat buys or upgrades this season? Not that I can think of. I'd love to get a second power pull on there. I would have to downsize my batteries to do that. Probably no more. I think I've done all the upgrades I can pretty much do to the tracker. But I may think of something. I mean, I do have something in mind as far as building a center console. But I don't know. We'll see. Good question, though. Are you going to get a new boat with a bigger outboard? Nick, no, I have to stick with a 50 horse max just because of the lakes that I fish. One of the lakes that I fish, I don't think has horsepower restrictions, but the lake that's closest to me, the one that I fish the most, is a 50 horsepower max. So for that lake alone, I mean, the lake is not that great, but it's just a lake that it's really where I learned to bass fish. I mean, I love the lake. So for that reason alone, I won't go over 50 horse just so I can fish that lake. Chuck Barnett, appreciate the $5, buddy. Use your code for another Connect scale. Bought one for my son, and after he told me how nice it was, I had to buy another one for me. No problem, buddy. I do appreciate the $5, and glad you guys like the scales, and glad you guys use my code. Again, I don't make anything off those codes. Those codes are all for you guys, and just as a thank you. So I'm glad you guys saved a few bucks. Again, thanks, Chuck, for the $5. You're entered in the giveaway. Old Ohio Angler, remember the video when you two went fishing for your anniversary? Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
You've been around a while then.
That was a while ago.
Yep. I'm trying to think what song that was on there. Was that a Beyonce song or something? I remember that.
Something like
I remember
that,
there was a song playing in the background. It could have been a Beyonce song or something.
I remember there was something going on.
No, I probably won't get into kayak fish, but I'm thinking about getting one of those like little pontoon type boats from Pelican. So not a kayak, but something that'll get me on the ponds. 6 cents makes a good lure. Got a bunch of their square bills. I mean, the paint holds up pretty good. Pretty good color combinations and all that on there. Lots to choose from. Comes with solid hooks, and I got no complaints on those. The movement and they're like 1.5 square bills. Pretty much all that I've used from them. What type of trailer works best on spinnerbaits? I like a smaller swim bait. I like a plasma tail. I like a hammer shad. Really, I don't even start with a trailer though. What I do is, for me, if the lakes that I fish, I usually don't go big profile too often. I start small, and if I start getting a good bite on a spinnerbait, then I'll put a trailer on to make up my catch. But until I get some bites on it, I don't put a trailer on there. I want to see if there's a spinnerbait bite first, and after I'm catching a few, I got more confidence in it because I know the bite is on. Then I'll put a little swim bait or something like that on there to maybe get a bigger bite. But normally I never start with a trailer. What rod and reel combo does Miss Tackle Junkie use when she goes fishing?
What do you usually?
Usually she just uses a 6-speed or 7-speed reel, usually 12-pound test, fluorocarbon, 7-foot medium heavy rod. Is usually what she uses. And normally what she throws is most of the time it's either a chomper straight tail worm or a plasma tail, 3-aught offset hook, 1/4 ounce weight, and she just drags a worm. Normally that's what she does. I'm not sure I want to put a crankbait in her hand. I do remember.
I did catch the seat.
Yeah, I do remember the only time that she had a crankbait. It actually was a torpedo. We were fishing topwater, and first cast, I heard this thump, and I looked back, and the reel blew up, and the torpedo was stuck in my seat. So after that, I don't think I put a crankbait back in her hand.
And I think that was like the first cast of the day too. Didn't we just get out on the water?
I think it was, yeah. So the topwater bite went down the crapper really fast.
Impressive.
How long? So here, Zachary. How long have you been with your wife?
Several years.
We've been married over 15 years.
Yeah.
We've been married
16 years this year.
16 years this year, and I guess we've been together 18.
Sounds right.
Yeah, 18 or 19 years, married, going on 16.
Impressive.
A long time.
Do you prefer straight swim baits, or are you underspins better? Fishing Kentucky Lake for our first college tournament in 3 weeks, and I've heard swim baits do well there. Normally, I like something a little bit smaller, smaller swim bait with an underspin when the water's a little bit colder. I just feel it's a little more finesse. And when I'm looking for a bigger bite, I'll just go straight swim bait, either 4 or 5 inch Texas rigged. And usually I don't put a blade on those. Sometimes I will use one of those owner flashy swimmers that does have a blade. Again, it depends on the bite. Sometimes if I'm not catching them without a blade, I will add a blade. But usually I don't fish underspins, summer months, hot months. I usually fish those, fall and early spring. Have you gotten your limited edition pro qualifiers? They came yesterday. Yep. I'm late. Hey, what's up, Tapper John? Hey, son of a fisher. What's going on, dude? You missed. She was doing the floss earlier. You have to rewatch the feed.
There you go.
Sergio, a new question. I've been hearing since last week that no one wants bananas in their boat. I've never brought any on board. Just saying, I've been hearing. That's just what do you call that? Like a
superstition.
Like a superstition, bad luck type deal. I'm not sure if it's anything, but people believe bananas in your boat's bad luck.
Because a banana peel, you step on it.
What do you think about favorite rods? I've never even held one. I couldn't tell you. Thoughts on Guggen baits? I haven't used them. I'm sure I'll try them sometime this year, but again, I haven't tried them. They look a lot like striking baits. I'm sure they're decent. My legs are trolling motor only on a 9.9 limit. For me, 24-volt trolling motor. Yeah, dude, you would have to have that. I use 2 deep cycle trolling motors or batteries. Good live stream, TJ1. Going spool up a couple reels. You'll have a great night. Thanks, Perry. When do you fish an A rig? If you do, I don't fish it much. Maybe something I would fish in the fall. Best lure to catch high numbers of fish, not worried about size, other than a Texas rig worm. I was going to say a worm. Number of fish, not worried about size. I would say, some type of worm, whether it be Texas rigged, dragging it, shaky head, drop shot, something like. If you're on fish, it's really hard to beat a worm. They eat a worm. No, I've never used Huddleston. No. One is hooked to starter. The other, electronics. Fishing to the max, $14.99. Oscar winning Johnson. I do appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for the donation. You're entered in the giveaway. What's up with Bass Pro Reels? $50. What would you compare it to? I am not too familiar with Bass Pro stuff. It's a killer reel. Like I've been saying for years, the Pro Qualifier, even at full retail for $100, it's a steal. What would I compare?
Didn't I
It was one of the first baitcasters she used.
Great reel.
What can I compare it to? Probably like it kind of fishes even a lot like the Okuma reels, the 13 fishing reels. Things like that. But they got dual braking. It's hard to make them backlash if you set them up correctly. It's just a killer reel, and for $50, you can't beat it. But even for $100, you can't beat it. East Bass and Outdoors. What's going on, buddy? Worst baitcaster you've ever used?
Me.
I can't really say I've used a bad baitcaster. From all the Bass Pro ones, I went to even more Bass Pro ones, which is a lot of Daiwa stuff, 13 fishing, Okuma stuff. More Daiwa. Yeah, I can't say I've really used. I've never really bought a real cheap baitcaster, and I can't say I've really had any issues with them at all. To be honest. What is your philosophy in life? That's a good question.
Any Beyblades?
Live it to its fullest and
Yeah.
laugh often.
Yeah, keep on pushing forward, man. Keep rolling. Keep your head up.
Any more Beyblades?
Don't let the little things get you down, which I struggle with that sometimes. I let the littlest things bother me, and really I shouldn't. Just keep your head up and keep moving forward, and live life to the fullest.
More Beyblade questions.
You just never know when your last day is going to be. I may have to get that reel then. I trust your opinion. Dude, get the reel. I think it's 5, limit of 5. Do yourself a favor, get all 5 because it's that good. If you only get one, you're going to kick yourself if you didn't get a second one. That reel is that good. I can promise you'll love it.
Beyblade questions.
There's no Beyblade questions. My worst was a Quantum. Andy saying Quantum. You love your Quantums. 13 fishing reels. There was just a whole lot of hype about those reels when they first came out. Like they did something real special. And I'm not saying that they weren't great reels. They're awesome reels. But I didn't see anything that was really innovative that they did. Like even the braking system is the same at the Okuma reel that they had. If that was the big deal that they were talking about, it's the same dial that Okuma was using. So I mean, and I would imagine even if I took those reels apart, I would have bet the internals are pretty similar. But I mean, Okuma reel or not Okuma reels. The 13 fishing that you asked about, yeah, they're solid reels. I used the A, I used the C. I did not use the Inception, but I mean, C was solid, A was solid, great reels. But again, I just didn't see anything that was that special that they were trying to talk about. Now, I did pick up the Z, which that does have those bearings, or maybe it's no bearings, whatever it is with that reel there, which I'm going to play around with that this year and review that for you guys. But we'll see how that one goes. As far as the A and C goes, solid reels. If you like them, pick them up. But I just think there's other reels that I would get over those. I'm looking to pair a reel with my 7/8 deep diving crank rod. Would you be all right using a normal size baitcaster? You may want to use like a 150 or 200 size. It really depends. It really depends on your line diameter that you're going to use. If you're going to go real deep, you may want to use 10, 12 pound test. You might be able to get away with 150 size. If you're going to be throwing 12, 15 pound test, you may want to even go even bigger. So it would depend on line diameter as far as that goes. Last question before heading to bed. Did you watch any fishing shows back in the 90s, and which one was your favorite? Bill Dance, Roland. Oh yeah, I watched all those. Hank Parker, the Bass Pros. What was that other one? Striking had one. Oh yeah, Joe Thomas, Real in the Outdoors was a good one.
It was the 90s.
But there was another one from Striking. Pro Team Journal was another good one. Do you throw a swimming worm? Yeah, I love the Striking cut R worm. Thoughts on lose reels? So far, I've only used the Custom and Custom Pro. Love them both. And I'm talking about those in the video that's coming out on Tuesday. I want to review those reels, but I want to know really what you want to see in the review. I don't really want to go through a reel review like some guys do and just read off all the specs, because anyone can do that. You guys can look that up online. I just want to keep them kind of short and sweet, tell you why I like the reel, tell you maybe what I didn't like about the reel, something like that, short and sweet, if it's good or it's not good. So that's kind of what I want to do, and you guys can give me that feedback on my next video. No, I've never used round bait casters. And you guys just love talking about the Guggen baits. I don't have any thoughts on them. I haven't used them yet. Again, they look pretty similar to Striking. I'd imagine they're going to be pretty good. Again, I haven't used them. What does lawn fertilizer do to a lake, and how will the fish respond?
What did it say?
What does this Phantom Fishing? What does lawn fertilizer do to a lake, and how will the fish respond?
Again, the lawn fertilizer is going to put a lot of nitrogen, phosphorus, and other things into the water that the algae feed off of. And when the algae feed off a lot of that, and you have an algal bloom, then it can potentially kill off the fish. Because once those algae start utilize all the resources, then they die off, and bacteria move in and they eat up on them. They have their own type of bloom, and then again utilize all the oxygen up, and you can cause some asphyxiation event and have a fish die off.
That's why on Lake X, after a big rain, the water's like green, and then you do see dead shad floating and things like that. So you're blessed with a wonderful wife and kids. You guys have a good night, and see you next time. Thanks, Victor. Appreciate it, buddy. Thoughts on Daiwa versus Fluger? I used a few of the Flugers, the Supreme, was it the XT? I mean, solid reels, but I would definitely put Daiwa over the Fluger. I mean, price, I think the Flugers were a couple $100 ones that I used, and I would probably put the CT over those Flugers. CT 130, killer reel. My lake has adopted a new slot limit. No largemouth bass under 13 should be released. No bass between 13 and 16 can be kept. Only one bass over 16 can be kept per day. What does your wife think?
It sounds like they're trying to just control the population. Yeah. Is all that they're trying to do.
Yep.
And either control or maintain it.
Oh yeah, Rage Menace, Jordan. Love the Rage Menace. One of my go-to trailers for a swim jig.
I love Rage.
Mike loves Rage. Vinny, he was raging earlier playing Fortnite, so I had to kick him off because he lost and he threw his headset, so he was raging too.
He's doing baby stuff.
Yeah, he's doing baby stuff. I've almost all 13 fishing, but thinking about switching to something different because of 13's customer service. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. So, Guggens are for Guggens. Favorite beaver style bait. I'm not going to put vile bug in it yet because I started using that one into last season. I don't have a ton of time with it yet, but it's definitely going to be up there. I mean, I love it. I'm sure it will end up being my favorite. I love the design of it, colors. I mean, it's killer bait. But ones that I've used the most, D-bomb, the rodent, structure bug. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there. What's the blue suffix in the background? Oh, suffix siege, 14, 17, and 20-pound test. I'm going to use that for my the 20. I'm going to use for the S waivers. I picked it up just because the diameter is much bigger on that line compared to Seaguar Senji. So when I want to keep my baits extra shallow, I'll spool it up with that mono versus Senji just because that diameter will keep them up.
Beyblades.
No, we're not talking Beyblades.
I didn't say that.
Old Toe, what's up? Can you make all this cold and rain go away so the fish will come up? Yeah, no kidding, dude. If I could, I would, man.
I would heard stay so we can go.
How do you find the juice when you hit a new lake? I go with you, dude. You always put us on the juice, man. Now, I tell you what, if you would have went to the juice,
he has to eat the worm.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm not going to say what happened on the last fishing trip with me and Phantom, but he has to eat the worm. That's all I know. But if he would have took me to the juice, maybe what happened to me wouldn't have happened. You know, I kept saying, dude, there's a rock over there. Could we go to the rock?
He didn't want you to hit the juice.
He didn't want me to go on the juice. Have you ever thought about using bigger soft swim baits like Huddlestons and Ospreys, or are you planning on just using... I'm going to start with the glide baits, get a little confidence in those, then I'm going to use some bigger soft baits as well. It'll be baby steps for me. Handled a Chronarch XG at Cabela's the other day, and are you going to try any Shimano? That's what I'm going to do with the donations. We're going to put that towards the Corrado DC.
Why about a surprise in your crib?
What's your favorite? Panfish, crappie.
A Beyblade.
Awesome shows you named off the 90s were the best. For shows, they're almost non-existent. Another awesome live stream. You have a good night. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it, buddy.
Good night.
The worm was delicious. Yep. You had to eat the worm, man. That's all I can tell you guys.
Was that Phantom?
Old Phantom.
Press it.
Do you use scent? And if so, what do you like? Yeah, I use JJ's. I use Bang. I use Gulp. I mean, I use a bunch of different scents. Fish in dirty water, rattles, and scent is a big deal for me. Have you ever fished Lake Taneycomo or Table Rock? Just curious because Branson is an awesome vacation spot. We go to Branson every year, sometimes a couple times a year. I've kayaked on Taneycomo, and we rented a boat last year on Table Rock, but I haven't fished either one. But I do believe Phantom Fishing is fished Taneycomo.
Hey, Dad.
What, Mike?
When we rented a kayak, you and Minnie fished.
No, I never fished down there.
We didn't fish. No, we just...
How long do you go without a bite before making a switch to a different color of bait?
Fish.
Well, I'm pretty stubborn. If I go out a day and I say I'm going to catch them on a square bill, I'll fish it until I catch them on a square bill. So that's why sometimes I only catch a fish or two because I was stubborn all day. So I really need to adjust that this year to be able to catch more fish, which I'm going to start with throwing more finesse baits and things like that. But I would say, you know, if I'm fishing one area, half hour or so, and no bites, I'll probably switch color, switch baits. A lot of times, you know, I'll run all these certain banks that I fish with rock on them, and once I've covered them all how I wanted to fish them, then I'll come back with a different color. Sometimes I'll pick them off that way. But, I mean, I'm pretty stubborn with the colors that I like to fish and how I like to fish them, and so I don't switch as much as I should. If you have one box of baits, what are you putting in it? I have to do that because I kayak fish so hard. I have to put everything in one box, and it kind of sucks. I mean, it all depends how deep you're fishing. I mean, for hard baits, for me, I keep it pretty simple. Square bills, DT6, DT10s. As far as mid-depth divers, that's pretty much all I throw. I like the DT series. Like I said, square bills, top water poppers, walk the dog baits, some buzz baits, spinner baits, of course your soft plastics. I mean, that would cover me for, you know, a good amount of fishing. How do you start fishing deep without a graph? You almost need to use your baits to find things. So like a Carolina rig, a heavy jig, something like that. Looking at the bank, just how the detour, or what do you call it, the contour of the bank and all that is, will kind of let you know if you're off the bank, if it's deep, if it's shallow, and things like that. But the best thing to do is just, like I said, drag a heavy jig or drag a Carolina rig. Have you used fin braid? I have not. Up here in Minnesota, what would cause lakes to die off in the winter? Is it because the ice is too thick and there's no oxygen?
I have heard of some of that can happen when the ice is too thick, but then again,
Blurry.
I know there's a lot of different things that happen up north in the lakes and stuff like that that can cause fish to die off in the winter. And I did read that there's a lot of lakes up north that are changing just because of some invasive species and things like that have come in. So they're moving from a hyper eutrophic lake to maybe a hypo eutrophic lake or things like that, where they don't have as many nutrients as they once had. So something like that may have to do with it too.
Cool.
What's your favorite color of soft plastic? Black and blue, or just straight black. First time viewer here, informative and entertaining content. Thanks. Appreciate it, Brian. We'll be here every Sunday, bud.
Impressive.
Why are black and blue plastics so good? I mean, really anything dark just shows up well. I guess the silhouette's well in like muddy water. So I mean, I don't know if it will work really well in clear water, which I've heard a lot of guys using black and blue in clear water. But for me, it just stands out the best in muddy water. Black and blue, red shad, June bug, things like that. That's called committed, not stubborn. There you go. Check out fishkids.com. They have a few nice 1.5 square bills for $3.99. I bought two, so I'm going to try. That's cool. Good deal. This winter I bought the Corrado DC because I already had two Corrados and love them. I have had no experience with the DC on water, so I can't say much. However, I have noticed the cast distance is similar. Thoughts about the Bass Pro Qualifier 2 for sale right now for $50. I got a video on this, guys. I just made the other day letting you guys know about the sale. I ordered two myself. The reel, I mean, I didn't need any reels, but the reel is that good. There's no way I was passing it up for $50. Plus, they had a cool color scheme to it. It's silver and blue. It'll match the rods. But I mean, at full retail, $100, that reel's a steal. At $50, buy as many as you can afford because it's that good. I can promise you, you'll love the reel. And with dual braking, if you set it up correctly, you're going to have to make it backlash. I mean, it really is that good of a reel. When is your favorite time to use a square bill? All the time.
Never.
I have usually a square bill. When I'm on my boat, I got all my rods, everything rigged up how I want to have it rigged up. I'm not fishing with you. Normally, I have like 3 or 4 square bills tied up because normally I like to fish them all day long.
What?
If you went to the lake in the spring without being there yet that year, would you chase clean or dirty water or just chase a spawning pocket of points? Normally, I mean, on the lakes that I fish, I kind of go to the same banks where I caught spawners before. I fish pretty muddy water. I mean, there's really not any clean water on the lakes that I fish. And so I just go where I had better experiences the year before. And, fish them the same way I did before. If I catch some spawners, then I'll slow down on that stretch. If you could only use one brand of plastic, what would it be and why? One brand? I couldn't. Just because, I mean, I like different styles of plastics, different, even scent. I'll pick different plastics for different scent. I mean, not one brand has every bait that I like to use, so it would be hard for me to pick one. Even like missile baits and even Biospawn, even Jackall. I mean, companies like that don't have the biggest variety. Probably Striking probably has the biggest variety. So if I had to pick one right now, it would be Striking just because they offer everything. They have a ton of colors. But keep an eye on Biospawn, guys. There's big things coming this year, hopefully. Blows my mind how well red baits work. Like, yeah, dude, red's killer in the spring, sure. But I mean, red works well for me all year long. My lake has a shad kill when the ice is super thick, but not any other species. I'm looking for a volunteer to come travel with me.
He's right there.
No.
Baitlights?
Baitcaster versus spinning. Spinning, light line, light lures. Baitcaster, heavier line, heavier lures, more power fishing.
Baitlights?
Favorite Beyblades? No. Favorite braid, 50-pound FX2.
Favorite Beyblade?
What's going on, Archer? Shoes match purse.
What?
365 fishing. What's going on? What's your square bill rod? Steve, that would be either the Okuma TCS. It's a medium plus jerk crank rod, or like the EVX 7-foot medium heavy. You prefer silent or, oh, I gotta have rattling. I have some silent, I hardly ever throw them. And really, I prefer the one knocker rattles. I do much better with those versus like all the BBs. So like the one that the rattle in the Bomber Square 8's got a nice hard knock to it. I believe that's why that bait does so well. But I really prefer the rattling one knockers. Hello everyone, and no way, Rebecca, dog, and kiddo. Yep, we're all in here, dude. We had Vinny down here earlier too.
Look at the dog. Look at her.
Mega Bass is awesome. I mean, I'm not saying it's overpriced, but I mean it is in a way. It's kind of expensive, but I mean detail is awesome, baits are awesome. I mean you get what you pay for, but I mean I wish they would be a little bit cheaper. Ever use chomper baits? I mean heck, the chomper stick bait, one of the first baits, that and the tube. Some of the first baits that I started with. Yeah, I love. It's funny he's talking about the smell. I didn't know how strong they were. And on the way home from Bass Pro, I opened those up in her car, and it smelled like garlic for days. It was terrible.
Couldn't get rid of it.
Can I read one?
Go to jerkbait, Mega Bass 110. What's your video called on the Bass Pro reel? I'm just talking about picking it up. What did I title that? Can you believe this? I think it's called. I did it like a couple days ago.
Can I read one?
But I do have a video how to use a bait caster, and I'm showing you guys how to do that with the Rick Glenn reel, which is a step above the Pro Qualifier. And in that video, I show you guys how to adjust the dual braking. So check out that video too. Yep, I use Mega Bass, mainly their top waters and jerkbaits. Would you recommend investing in a graph if I learn how to use one? Yeah, definitely you need to learn how to use it if you pick one up. If you're fishing more clear, deeper water, I say it's a must. Me fishing pretty much the same lakes all the time and more sticking shallow and muddier water, I mean, I hardly ever even turn my graphs on anymore. But definitely if you're in, a deep, clear lake, I think it's a must. Mike, here you go, dude. Answer this one.
Yeah. Tips. Wait, what? Which one?
Favorite Beyblade?
Fafnir.
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 Tips for tubes. Man, I got a video how to fish a tube. The thing about a tube, man, just changing color and how you work it, you can make a tube look like anything. You can drag it on the bottom, make it look like a craw. You can hop it off the bottom, make it look like a craw, maybe a bluegill, shad. Use a white one. I mean, I love fishing a tube. One of the first baits that I started throwing, a bait I have a ton of confidence in. Really, I haven't really threw it in a long time, but I need to get back to throwing a tube. I just think they've seen that too much on the lakes that I normally fish because, man, when I first started fishing those lakes, I fished a tube like nonstop. And I stopped for a while. I think it's about time to get the tube back out again. Any tips for someone looking to get more into power fishing instead of finesse fishing? I was more into soft plastic, Zach, when I first started fishing. And, then it's like now I can't even put the crankbait down. So, I mean, I still fish soft plastics, jigs obviously, but cranking is where my confidence is at. So, really, you just need to start doing it. I mean, know that you're going to get snagged up a lot with crankbaits and things like that. You're going to lose a lot, but you're also going to catch a lot of fish. So, really, you just need to do it, and eventually you'll catch on to it and gain confidence in it and want to throw it more and more. That's why, I've caught so many fish on squarebill. I don't want to put it down. And that's really the problem that I have. I don't want to throw anything else because I do so well on a squarebill.
Any Beyblades?
Missed the reel you were commenting on. Which one is it? The Bass Pro Qualifier, the limited edition. It's on sale right now for $50. Red Eye 2-tap. I love it. I got a few of those. Love the sound in those. Wish they were a little bit cheaper, but it's a great bait. I do a lot of pitching. I do a lot of flipping. I don't really have a whole lot of mats and things like that I would need to flip to or flip on. But pitching, yeah, I'll pitch around, lay downs and overhanging brush and things like that. Something I want to mention too, we got 120 people still on here. I believe this Thursday, myself and Phantom Fishing will be doing a live stream on the Mystery Tackle Box channel. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be later at night. It could be around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, but keep a lookout for that. Yep, Bass Pro Reel.
Beyblades?
Well, it depends. I talked about the SX as well, but recently we were talking about the Bass Pro Reel. Blade Minnow is a killer chatterbait trailer, one of my favorites.
Those?
Favorite place to buy tackle warehouse. How do you store your plastic in boxes or keep them in bags? Both. If it's a bait like Power Team lures, they got really strong scent to them, or they're really oily like missile baits and things like that, I usually box those. And worms, I like to box just to keep them straight. Everything else I'll keep in bags. But eventually I would like to box everything just because it's so easy to stay organized, label the box, see all your colors, pick your baits out, see what you got. I mean, I really do want to box everything. And I have the boxes to do it. I'm just too lazy to do it. So, what brand graph to use? I have a Hummingbird. I got the 890. No, here I got 598 and 899. They got side imaging and down scan. Favorite color, square bill, either gizzard shad or red craw. I don't think bass have large enough brains. How long of memory do they have? That's a good question, Chuck. I really don't know, dude.
I don't know either. I don't think there's been any studies done on that.
What is that yellow crank bait hanging on the wall behind you? Let's grab that.
This one?
Yep. It is the 6 cents Crush Flat 75X.
Green.
Great bait to come out with here early spring. The man buys more tackle than buys chocolate. Central Time.
Beyblades.
Yeah, Central Time, yeah. Yeah, I still use Power Team lures. Crawdad is still one of my go-to baits. Great on shaky head. Great on
Beyblades.
jig, things like that. I don't know if you guys ever pay attention, but my logo, that little craw, is the Crawdad. Love your videos. You're a good man. Thanks, dude. No, I'm not a big fan of Zoom baits. I think the plastic is just so inconsistent. I mean, half the baits you get in the package, they look like they're deflated. I mean, tails are bent. I mean, half the baits that you get normally you can't even use. Great baits. I mean, a lot of guys love them. They're just not for me. Nice. I have 2 Helix 7.1 DI 1 SI. They work so good. That's cool. Brian, I appreciate the $5, buddy. Love the videos. Have been watching for years. That's cool, dude. And that gets you entered in the little giveaway. We're doing the giveaway for anyone that donates in the live stream giveaway. Make sure you look back after the video goes, or after it's, processed. I'll pick a winner, and it'll be in the comments. But you guys have to look back because you'll need to respond to me so I get your address to ship it out.
Hey, Dad.
I skipped one. How does wind affect?
Oh, there we go. How does wind affect body of water?
It can help in the turnover. Wind can also help in oxygenating a body of water to those upper layers and things like that. And when you move into oceans and things like that, then you're looking at a whole different slew of how the wind affects the body of water.
What? Oh, Dad, by the way.
What?
Whoever donates $4.99, you have to do the floss.
I'm not doing floss. Back into the floss. Sorry, you missed it, dude. Back to doing floss.
Oh, and you did the floss?
Well, to him, I'm mom.
Mom did the floss?
Mom.
Tips on jerk baits. Probably the biggest tip, and it's a tip that I need to take myself, is to slow down more. You know, usually I fish a jerk bait in colder water. It's another bait I'll come out with early spring, late fall, things like that. And I never pause long enough. I need to just let it sit, and that's something that I struggle with. So I would say slow down more with the jerk bait, let it pause for a little bit, and hopefully get bit.
I think we're going to head off because it's getting close to bedtime for somebody. So.
Alrighty.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Remember, hit the thumbs up.
More Beyblades.
You guys want her on next week? Leave some comments.
Beyblades.
So
Gonna
you
be-
How many
leave a
Beyblades
lot
does
of
he have? How many
comments.
Beyblades you got?
A box full.
About 30?
30 Beyblades.
30, 40?
Okay, I'll remember to take a nap. Oh, for the stream, yeah. I'm sure MTV will start hopefully promoting that so guys know about it. But
What is your favorite
Bye-bye,
vacation
Beyblade
all
friends.
time?
ever use steel weights?
Ooh.
Bye-bye, sorry.
No, I use tungsten and lead. I haven't used lead in a long time though.
Favorite vacaster of all time?
Oh, of all time, that's a tough one.
Okuma TCS. I answered that one for myself.
Kuma TCS, you think?
Okuma TCS.
Well, it could be the new SX here, dude. After I use it.
Oh wow.
Of all time, though, if price, oh, there we go. If price wasn't an option, I have the Daiwa SV103. It's a discontinued reel. That was a great reel to pitch and flip with. I mean, it's built like a tank, kind of heavy, but it's a solid reel. Not a reel that I want to do everything with, but just for like pitching soft plastic and things like that. It was a killer reel. Do a reel cleaning maintenance video soon. I need to, and I used to do them all the time. Why is it not focusing? I used to do them all the time, and when I kept getting more and more reels in each season, I didn't have a need to clean my old reels. So that's really why I haven't done them here lately. But I do have some pretty good ones on my channel. Check those out if you guys haven't already. Now, we're thawed here, bud. Hook box update. I'll be doing that soon. In what situation do you use mono braid or fluoro? Okay, mono I like for some top waters. Braid I like when I'm around grass, either with a frog, swim jig, or if I'm pitching around grass. I don't like braid around wood. Once it gets around the wood, you pull on it, it digs into the wood. You got to go back and go in and get it. Fluorocarbon I pretty much use for everything else. I use it for the majority of my cranking, jig, soft plastics, anything like that when I'm around wood. But pretty much how I would do it. How often do MTB boxes have duplicates or baits you wouldn't use? I'd say I wouldn't use. I wouldn't think that they're suited for the lakes that I fish. All the baits in there are all baits that I would use, but the lakes that I fish, I mean, they're tough to fish, guys. And if I don't have the right color, I don't have any confidence in it, or again, it just depends on the style of bait. They're going to work somewhere else. They just may not work on the particular lakes that I fish. And I'm only fishing really a few different lakes, so I don't really give myself that many options because of the few lakes that I fish. But you're always going to get a bait or two that maybe you wish you got a different color or something like that. Umbrella rig, I haven't fished it much. Type of rain suit. My lighter rain suit is the Gill Pilot suit, and my heavier one is the 100 mile per hour gear. Husband wants to know, is water soluble baits better than oil based? I would think oil would be better. It leaves more of a trail, I would think. Old Ohio Angler, good night. And you can see that sometimes, I mean, I load all my, even like when I'm throwing a jig, skirts and things like that, I'll soak them down with, gulp or bang or something like that. And you can, when you hit the water, you can see that oil, all over the surface. I would think maybe it would last maybe a little bit longer. Maybe the scent trail will last a little bit longer. So I would say the oil. Thanks, Miss TJ81. Sorry to see you go. Looks like we're behind no comments here. Yeah, she's out. How important is real weight to you? What would you consider too heavy and comfortable to fish? I tell you what, I never really paid attention to it until I got into fishing like the Daiwa reels. And with Daiwa, I felt that I had to have different reels for different techniques. And that's when the weight really started to throw me off. I used smaller reels for maybe more finesse stuff and heavier reels for this, that, and the other. And it would really throw you off when you were throwing something heavy and then pick up something light. The combos didn't feel the same. So when I got into the Okuma stuff, that's why I wanted all my reels the same. I got all the same reels and all the rods. And when you pick up a heavy bait to a light bait, it doesn't throw you off. Everything feels the same. So I never really paid attention really until I got into the Daiwa reels. And I'd say a good weight, all around weight, anywhere from 6 ounce range or so. I'd say you're pretty good. Obviously a little bit lighter is better, but even ones that are around 7 ounces, to me, you don't even really notice it. It's just when you have some that are really light and some that are really heavy, then you notice it. But if all your reels are like a certain weight, if they're all 7.5 or whatever they are, you don't notice it then. You just notice when you have some light and some heavy. And that's really the only time that I noticed it, is because the Daiwa reels are so opposite of each other. Some are so small, held lighter line, lighter drag, versus some that were much bigger. And that's when I really noticed it. I don't really use leaders. I fish dirty water. I go straight braid or straight fluoro. What rod would you recommend for glide baits? I don't have a whole lot of experience with glide baits. The rod I'm going to use is a 7-foot heavy power fast action rod. It's got a 2-ounce tip on it. It'll handle the baits that I'm wanting to throw on it. That's the one I'm going to start with to see how I like the baits and do with them before I buy another rod. Any progress on the terminal box? No, actually, I was talking to the owner the other day that makes the battle box, and they're sold out. They're not going to be back in stock till May. So I didn't want to make the video now and then nobody can get the box. So I'll probably put that video out closer to the time they're going to be back in stock. But I am working on that video. What bait caster should I get with $120 budget? What I would do right now is buy 2 of the Pro Qualifiers, the Bass Pro. You get 2 of them for $100. They're on sale right now, half off, $50 a piece. Or if you want to take the 120, get the Tatula CT for $130. That's a solid reel as well. But if it was me, I'd buy 2 of those Pro Qualifiers. Retail is $100. Killer reels on sale, $50. Do you change anything for cranking in the wintertime? Sometimes I'll go to a lighter wire hook and more of a flat side crankbait, like the flat here. But other than that, no. I've never tried the Alpha Angler rods. What is your favorite spinning reel of all time? Oh, it's got to be this one right here, the SX. Used this one last season. These are awesome. It looks like we are caught up. Drew, thanks, man. All right, dude, we were 2 hours in. I didn't think we were going that long. No, I've never been to Shields. Tattoo CT type R's on sale at most places for 110. Yeah, go that route too. That's an awesome reel. I'd still be honest. I'd still rather have 2 Pro qualifiers over the one at CT or the Type R. I think they're that good, and you get 2 reels. But if you just want one, the Type R is killer reel as well. For someone that hasn't flipped before, would you suggest a reel with a flipping feature? Really, you don't really need it because when pitching's different. I should do a video on this. When you're flipping, you're not engaging the thumb bar. You're going to pull so much line out, and you're going to work the rod back and forth with the line. So there's no really need in my mind for a flipping switch because you're not engaging that thumb bar. So I would say no, and I'm going to do a video on that as well. I'm new to cranking, but I'm curious when to throw a short bill crank versus a lipless. Lipless is great around grass. Square bills are great around rock and things like that. More open water fishing, again, I like the lipless. Yeah, when I'm around laydowns, rock, things like that, I like the square bill. So really square bill, probably more for cover. And a lipless, I like more for grass and open water. I fish almost the same body of waters as you, some muddy, stain, etc. Which plasma tail colors would you be good for those kinds of conditions? I like red bug a lot, June bug, black and blue. Split shot, yeah, I like split shot and grass. Real lightweight, keep it right on top of the grass. Favorite wintertime bait? I don't fish a whole lot in the winter, but probably if I had to pick one, I'm gonna say chatterbait. I don't throw a lot of the 6-inch stuff. I got a lot of square bills and flat sides, things like that. Chuck, I love your Sunday night live vids more than any others. Already can't wait for the next one. Have a good night. All right, dude, appreciate it, buddy. We will see you next week for sure. And tell you what, guys, I need to get off here because my throat, I've been talking for 2 hours straight. My throat's killing me. Do you fish lipless cranks, low or high? I'm going to say probably 6 foot range, something like that. Again, it depends on if you're trying to fish the grass. You want to tick the grass. It all depends where the grass is at. But for me, probably around 6 foot or so. He was talking about the battle box. Calco's fishing. Guys, I know we still got comments coming in here, but like I said, my throat's done. I got to get off here. What size hooks for soft plastics like chunks, craws, and brush hogs? If you're going to pick up some hooks, you can't go wrong with a 3-aught and a 4-aught. I don't think I even have many 5-aughts. 3 and 4-aught is about 4-aught's about as big as I go usually. I very rarely need a 5-aught. 3 and 4-aught would be good. Get yourself some EWGs, round bend offsets, things like that, and you'll be able to rig up majority of your baits. Have a good night. Great. All right, dudes. I appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys are awesome. It really was a fun stream. I can't wait to do it again next Sunday. And keep a lookout for, hopefully this Thursday, myself and Phantom Fishing will be on the MTB channel. So we'll do it Thursday, and then we'll do it again on Sunday. So anyways, it was a good time, guys. Make sure if you guys entered the giveaway, if you guys donated, make sure you look back in the comments because that's where I'll put the winner. Hopefully within the next 15 minutes or so, that will be up. So keep a lookout in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you guys